3 basic food groups. Exactly. Nothing but eggs, baby. Nothing but eggs. I'm gonna become an egg. It's beautiful. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Terran player representing Team Na'vi. It is Spirit. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the purple Protoss player representing Platinum Esports. It is Rodzyn. Here we go. TvP is upon us. And coming into this, Spirit is going to be coming in as one of the favorites. Again, I would go as far as to say that Spirit is the best player in all of Poland right now. Laser, of course, being the best Zerg player and the best Protoss in contention between Geralt and Christiana and Mana as well. I think I would place Christiana a little bit above the rest at the moment, just because he's been doing so well for himself and he's been doing so much. But we'll see. We'll see how this does settle. As for now, we do have Rodzyn going for his gateway setup here, going for a gate expand. Meanwhile, Spirit back at home going for his own economic opener as well. I say economic because Spirit is going for a single gas, not going for a second. Going for and setting up for a Rax expand. Going for a delayed factory instead. Meanwhile, back at home, Rodzyn going for his own gateway setup as well. Gateway into Nexus into Cybercore. So nothing out of the norm here. We're just settling into our game. I know that we had a really fast and chaotic first series, but here in our second series, we're just slowing things down. We're calming things down overall, settling into a best of 3, which I appreciate. Do appreciate. Well, I was just saying that Christiana has been doing so well recently, again in WTL, in Sparkly Tuna Cups and online weekly tournaments. Christiana, he has been popping off like no other. It's been a very impressive kind of rise of Christiana these past couple of months, and I'm excited to see how he does fare against his countrymen, against players like Geralt once again, players like Spirit, players like a Laser. We'll get some more of Christiana later on here tonight. For now, we're focusing on Spirit and Rodzyn. Rodzyn, he's a little bit overshadowed. I mean, there's a lot of Polish Protosses. There's a lot of Polish players in, a lot of Protoss players in Poland. Players not just Christiana, Mana, and Geralt, but players like Bapi, for example. Rodzyn Art is another big one. Rail, I haven't seen Rail been too active as of late, who's of course a resident of Poland. Ziomek, who's also been a little bit less active as of late as well. But there's a lot of Protoss players out there, so it can be difficult to really distinguish yourself from the pack, from the rest of them. But Rodzyn is still a good player nonetheless, and we'll see if he can take it to Spirit. From our economic opener, we're getting into our 1-1-1 to have our Cyclone on the way, Starport behind this. Could get into some drop play. Speaking of, there it is, Medevac is in production. To move out across the map with Marines, with the Wind Mines, with the Cyclone as well, to be a little bit more aggressive. Rodzyn back at home going for a Stargate opener. It's been a while, not gonna lie. I'm just so used to, like, we've been casting a lot of TvPs over the past couple of weeks, and we've been seeing so much Twilight Council play. So many Twilight Council, so many Bleak Stalkers, even more Robo play than Stargate, so it's a little bit refreshing. It's refreshing to see. Part of it may also be because we haven't been casting too many European Protoss players recently. It's been mainly the Koreans. Mainly the Koreans that have been avoiding Stargate play. But now that we're back in Europa, we can see the Phoenixes in their full force. Let's go. As we're up to 2, soon to be 3 Phoenixes. Spirit moving out already. And this is going to hit like a truck. Like, Phoenixes, they have such a hard time against these early pushes. Ooh, a very hard time. When the mine shot does not quite go off, Cyclone has arrived. We can threaten, of course, these Phoenixes and even threaten the ground. Threaten the production. First Wind Mine does get lifted. Ooh, lock on the Adept, not on the Phoenix there. So we are trying to break through. Once again, you can see there the lock-on being baited out on the Adept. Good control, good micro there out of Rodzyn, but the Adept does go down. We get on top of the shield battery. Shield battery is out of energy, and we break through it. Another Cyclone has arrived, and Rodzyn, can he hold? With these Cyclones, looks like it's just far too much. Boys are being pulled, but there is no shield battery, there is no overcharge, and we're getting so much on. We take down a Phoenix. We get 2 more probes. It does look like Spirit is running out of steam. As I say that, he's still just rallying more units across the map, and he's getting damage done. Gets another Phoenix and another Stalker. Very nice target pack. Very good stutter stepping here from Spirit. And as it looks like he's finally being cleaned up, we have another Cyclone joining the fray. And we get another Stalker. No shot. Another Stalker goes down. Another Stalker does fall, and we pick up another here towards the end as Zebelli does escape. Spirit calming things down, consolidating his army. Rodzyn, technically he has held. He has held on, and we're getting into the rest of our tech. Forge upgrades, Twilight Council with charge, third base as well. The reality though, there's no army. There's no army for Rodzyn because he's lost everything. We can see the units lost tab here. 3 Depths, 3 Stalkers, and 3 Phoenixes. He barely has a standing army. He's down to 4 Stalkers and 1 Phoenix. That's all he does have left. Meanwhile, Spirit back at home. He does back off for the time being. We're getting into our bunker, getting into the rest of our setup here on 2 bases. Third CC is almost done, so it's not a 2-base all-in. He is macroing up out of this. And Rodzyn survives, but the reality is because he's lost so many of his units, not necessarily his workers, but lost so many Stalkers, and had to reinvest, he won't really have much of a standing army when we push out. When Spirit decides to move out, Rodzyn's going to be in trouble. He needs to slow this down. He needs to try to buy as much time as possible to recover. Let's see if he can. In the main base, he delays racks. It's something. It's a nice little annoyance. Spirit just waiting for his CC to morph into a command center, into an orbital. Then he can float it over. Stim, combat shields on the way. We're waiting for all these upgrades to kick in. +1 attack as well. Spirit, he is getting there. Meanwhile, Rodzyn back at home is trying to recover himself. Now, there's no big splash damage that he has available to him. There's no Colossi, no Disruptors, no Storm. He does have Charged Lot Archon at least, and that will help. That is something, definitely. Sentries and Force Fields is going to be key. All of our abilities, all of our spells. There's a Gateway Explosion behind this. We have not taken the 3rd Gas Geyser here as the natural. We're staying on a low gas count, so it makes sense that we're going for a big Gateway Explosion, that we're relying on Zealots. So we are taking a 4th, but still not taking up. Like, without any extra gases, we can't really invest into any kind of splash damage yet. Storm would make the most sense. As Rodzyn is moving out. Moves out across the map. Spirit likewise moves out at the same time. Rodzyn sees that we have a base trade. Does Spirit turn back around? He does. Does turn back around. We do have the high ground, but do we have enough? Tanks get caught unsieged. And we dive on the first tank. First tank does go down. But the rest of the army is Sims on forward. It breaks through the defensive line of Zealots, and the Archons are exposed. They're going down one after the other. Good anti-armor missile here from Spirit. Yeah, Spirit is completely shutting this down. Now we did get 12 SCV kills. That's not bad, but what about the main army? Once again, good kiting here from Spirit. Zealots are being cleaned up, and there's no backbone behind this. Like, there's no Colossus raining down, there's no Archons, there's no Storm, there's no Immortals. The Zealots were really all that we had left. Spirit going for a scan. Rodzyn is even in the worker counts with Spirit, despite killing 14 SCVs. And Spirit could try to counterattack, but with this gateway, with the setup, we can just keep warping in more Zealots, go for another counterattack, go for another run by. Spirit is stuck at home for a little bit longer here. Rodzyn, can we build back up? We did kill 14 SCVs. Like, we're holding our own. We're up to 65 workers. Still no additional gases, which is a little bit concerning. We have yet to really refine the army or adjust it. Spirit moving in. Ghost production is underway, by the way. We are amassing ghosts, and we have 4 ghosts here with the main army. We have EMPs. And Charlotte Archon is so vulnerable to EMPs. Speaking of, they're coming from behind. A big EMP here on the main army. We do get on top of the ghost. We do force that pickup. Good clean up there from Rodzyn. Spirit just not prepared for the army to come in from behind. Go for the main base. We're going for the pylon. Oh, we depower the warp in. We deny it. We deny +2 as well. The pickoffs here from Spirit. Picks up, gets the hell out of there. At the same time, he does come across the proxy gateway. But it looks like he's going for the fourth. Going for the economy. The scan does reveal it. And there's not much here. Yeah, we go for the EMP on the base, just denying any kind of recall. On the shield battery as well. And the base is going to be focused down. It's close. Here comes the army. But we can focus it down in time. And Nexus does fall. So there's a proxy gateway. Drop comes back home. And Rodzyn is still being pulled apart. The earlier worker damage was still not enough. Now we're getting to a second robo. Or was that the first? No shot. Never mind. First robo's on the way. That's a first sign here of trying to go into something like Immortals or Colossus. But Spirit's lead is already, it's still huge. It's a little bit too much to overcome. Good EMP does graze the Zealots. Rodzyn trying to dive in. Trying to chase us down. We clean up so many Zealots though. And you can see Spirit take a massive supply lead at this point. Rodzyn trying to hold his own. And now he has a second robo on the way. Now we have the Bay on the way. Finally, we're taking up, but at this point, it's too little too late. This push here from Spirit, it's going to be so difficult to survive. To even get into Colossi. Rodzyn is trying to get there. Don't get me wrong. Spirit is pushing in. Zelzek collapse on the army. Yeah, we can just kite this to death. EMP on the Archons. Without shields, the Archons, they really do mean nothing here to the army of Spirit. And he's looking to snowball out of control. Just waiting for more reinforcements, topping up his army before stimming in again. Spirit working on +1 ship weapons. We have Vikings on the way in preparation of Colossi. We can see that it's going to be Disruptors, not Colossus. High risk, high reward. This does make sense given how behind we are to try to go into Disruptors. If Spirit messes up, if Rodzyn can get a good Nova off, we can maybe bounce back. Speaking of, Nova doesn't quite connect. EMP on the Stalkers, EMP on the Archons as well. Yeah, we just focus this down. Even a good Nova, even one juicy connection won't be enough. As we stim on forward, we focus down the base. Rodzyn just cannot contest against Spirit. Not here, not in game one. GG gets called. Spirit, it will take a lead in his first series of the night. GG. GG, well played. Again, Rodzyn just had a really rough start. A really rough start. Because he went for a Stargate opener, this is also why you don't see Stargate openers quite often anymore from the Koreans. From Korean Protoss players. Just because it's so... you leave yourself so vulnerable. Like, Stargate openers are ideal if your opponent is being more macro-oriented and more passive. But if they're being in your face, as we just saw, if they're being aggressive off the get-go, Phoenixes, they struggle. They struggle against a handful of units like that just because they're so limited in how they can help against a ground army. Because they have to lift up units one at a time. And at that point, you only have 3 Phoenixes anyway. So one of them isn't doing anything. It's lifting. The other 2 have to try to DPS them down. But they can also be forced back and zoned away by the Widowmines, by the Marines, by the Cyclones. Like, everything shoots up at that stage of the game. And it can be deadly. As we saw, it is deadly. Didn't quite kill Rodzyn, but did cripple him. To the point where he was just too far behind. And Spirit was looking dominant from then on forward. But, you know, with that, we're now getting into game number 2. And I'm sure we can see Rodzyn bounce back. Game 2 going to be on Alkyone. Let's go. Let us go. I want to believe he can have a better showing here, and he can flex a little bit more against Spirit. Again, Spirit is still the favorite player coming into this. He's going to be the favorite player against all of his opponents, but we'll see if anyone can slow him down. As spawning in the top right hand corner of our Kione, we have our Polish Terran player. The red Terran representing Na'Vi, it is Spirit. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the purple H.4.0.S player representing Platinum Esports, it is Rodzyn. Here we go. And Rodzyn having just a really rough start to game number 1. Hoping he can achieve a little bit more here in game 2. Already popping off with a proxy pylon. Rodzyn, what do you have in store for us? Okay, now we have one gateway back at home. There's going to be one gate back at home for the time being. I imagine we're going to be going for a gateway proxy. This may just be a 2-gate opener. Could just be one proxy gate, one gateway back at home. This could just be designed to snowball early on to delay any kind of expansion. Spirit is known for his more economic openers, so we should be going for a CC on the low ground. If that's the case, we can punish it. The goal here for Rodzyn is to try to take advantage of the more economic greedier styles here of Spirit. We'll see if he can. Do have the SCV pulling back. Good micro out of Spirit. Does save it. Does save his SCV. Rodzyn dipping back in. Reaper's on the way. First Zealot is being amassed as we speak. This proxy gateway should have, I was going to say it should be in line with the Cyber Core, but no, it's going to be finishing up a little bit faster, a little bit sooner. Okay, so 2 Zealots initially. Ooh, CC on the high ground here from Spirit playing safe. Spirit, he hasn't even SCV scouted, by the way. Yeah, racks expand into the factory. It's all on the high ground as well, so it's all safe and sound. We'll see. We'll see if Rodzyn can make something happen here with these initial Zealots. Now that the Cyber Core is done, we can reinforce with Adepts, with Stalkers. Speaking of, we have a Stalker on the front lines, an Adept back at home. The reason why you make the Adept at home here is because it's faster than the Stalker. It can shade across the map and reinforce faster. It's all about speed. It's all about trying to take advantage of how little Spirit has right now. Zell gets in. We get one SCV kill with delay the factory. Ooh, we delay the CC as well. Good start so far. This one Zealot popping off. Meanwhile, the SCV is moving out across the map. Reaper does come back home. Stalker has arrived. Boys are being pulled. And now we realize what's going on. 4 or 5 SCVs going to be going down. A 6th SCV as well. We're going for more. We get 7 workers. Cyclone is on the way. But this is pretty good damage. So far, so good here for Rodzyn. Getting more Stalkers reinforcing. Adept is about to rock up as well. Oh, we don't quite get that Reaper. Good control from Spirit, keeping it alive. And the goal here for Spirit is to just buy time for the Cyclone. As the Reaper does fall, we bust through into the main base. We delay the CC. Get how many SCV kills? That's going to be 9 SCV kills. Boys are being pulled. Cyclone does arrive. And do we get a Stalker? We do not. Only the Zealots have fallen. 5 more worker kills. See Rodzyn once again forcing his way out the ramp. Does take down a Marine. Does get another SCV. CC has completed. Bear that in mind. Spirit does have his orbital now on the way. But he lost 13 workers. That is too much. 13 SCVs. And Rodzyn is not done. I mean, he has to be careful. We're down to 3 Stalkers. And we're about to have 2 Cyclones. We get another Marine. We're going for the other Cyclone as well. Don't quite get it. Ooh. Focus down a Stalker. Yeah, SCVs are here to repair, and the Cyclones that will not go down. So Rodzyn has to be careful not to throw away too much, but so far so good. Rodzyn, he's got 25 workers. He's working towards a Twilight Council. I imagine getting ready for Blink. Spirit overshooting a little bit there. Stalker's going to be a bit of an annoyance, but another Stalker goes down. Good movement here with the Cyclones. We get a Stalker, we shut down the proxy. And the CC can finally land. Now again, Rodzyn has borderline double the worker count here of Spirit. It's crazy. 30 probes to 17 SCVs. Like Spirit, he's in quite a bit of trouble here. He needs to get some damage done. Now he's moving out. He's moving out with everything he has. A couple of boys are being pulled alongside this. Only a couple. It's going to be for repairs and for bunkers, I imagine. Shield ladders being thrown down. Stalkers in position. We could do with additional gateways. We're on 2 gateways at the moment. Warp gate is not done, by the way. That's how committed this opener was. Do focus on one of the Cyclones. Sin is holding on. Do manage to get both Marines as well. Do hold on for the time being. Spirit could be pulling back. Shutting down the gateway. It's going to be a Robo follow-up here from Rodzyn. Going Blink into Robo. Off of 3 gateways, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, off of 3 gateways. And Rodzyn is still looking good. Still looking solid. Spirit building up his tank count. Now, these tanks are going to be a bit of an issue here. Rodzyn has to be very careful. He has to be very careful not to overextend. Like, right now, he's ahead. Right now, I would say that Rodzyn has map control. Once he realizes that, we can chill. What I mean by that, we can expand. We can expand, we can take a 3rd base. Especially with Spirit starting up his own 3rd CC, we need to start our own. And there it is. 3rd Nexus is on the way from Rodzyn. We should be able to contain, and with that, we can expand, we can take up. Tank shot goes up. SCV. We might have Blink, but I believe there's no high ground vision. And no hallucination, no scout of the main base. Rodzyn is stuck outside. But still not in a bad place. As he is probing up, saturating his 3-base setup. Prism is now on the way. Was an observer first. We'll see what Spirit is able to build up towards. Because again, Spirit, he's been on the back foot. He's still not saturated on 2 bases. He's still building up his Raxes, working on Stim. Honestly, Spirit doesn't really have much of an army. You can see here he's down in army supply. If Rodzyn were to hit here and now with the wave of reinforcements, he could probably break the main. Not the natural with the bunker, but the main base is so vulnerable. Now the Prism is moving out, but is it too late? We have 5 more gateways as well. Can Rodzyn knock Spirit down before he can fully stand back up? There's that warp in. Charge is finishing up. We're going for some Zealots. Going for the main. Gateway explosion about to finish up as well. And we're taking a bit of time here. Again, this army here of Spirit is getting larger and larger. The Observer does spot this, does see the Widow Mines, does spot the tank. Cyclones are in position as well. 4th base has been spotted. I would say the biggest thing here is that if we didn't intend to go for an all-in, if we're taking a 4th base, where's the Robo? Where's the Bay, right? Where's the eventual Colossus production that we should be working towards? Where's the splash damage? If we didn't want to go into Colossi, then sure, we can go for Storm, something. But now, pure gateways. Rodzyn ready for his 1-2 punch. Spirit, can he keep up as he's going for a drop across the map? Scan reveals the Observer. Observer gets sniped. That's a pretty big pickup. Observer goes down. 3rd base is up and running. That job does come in. Do we force a recall? We have some reinforcements in position, thankfully. Mine should going off, but we do defend. To save the base. At the same time, the Prism was scouted. Spirit still chilling in between his bases. Expanding, taking his 3rd. Here we go, Rodzyn pushing on, at the same time the Prism is zoned away. As Zelda drop only 4 of them, the rest of the army does collapse on the main forces here of Spirit. Massive mine shots going off. The Zealots, they melt. Oh my god. The Zealots get annihilated. We dive on top of the army. Prism goes down. We deny the warping as well. And Spirit, his army crumbles. Oh, sorry. Spirit, sorry. Rodzyn, his army crumbles. What I meant to say. As the jump across the map does distract, we do force an overcharge. Zealots in the main base did break through the Cyclones, at least. But they only get the Cyclones and the turret as well. Spirit across the map isn't getting much done, but it is distracting Rodzyn. And Rodzyn just can't break through. And now suddenly you can see the pendulum swing. Despite the massive economic advantage that Rodzyn had, again, what did he do with that advantage? Sure, he expanded, he took more bases, but he didn't take any gases. Fun fact, 2. We only have 2 gases. No gases at the natural, no gases at the 3rd, no gases at the 4th, just now being taken. This shows how committed Rodzyn was with his charge lots. That's all he has. He has 0 splash damage. That was the intention, to be fair. That's what he intended to happen here, but it's blowing up in his face. As Spirit is going for a massive counterattack. Mine's just going to be going off. A lot of Widow Mines were taken out before they could get their shots off. But Spirit is still pushing through. Getting on top of the 4th. Just mowing down those Zealots. Focusing on the Nexus. Zealots, they try to trickle in. But Spirit, he does overwhelm Rodzyn. And again, Rodzyn had a really good start to the game. He was ahead. 30 probes to 17 SCVs, but as we mentioned before, what was done with that lead? We essentially transitioned into another all-in. The charge lots, they had their time to shine. That time has ended. We get on top of the 3rd base. We annihilate the mineral line. GG gets called, and Spirit will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Spirit, as he did bounce back, he did recover in that game. But a shout out to Rodzyn here, because again, he had an amazing start. He was able to kill so many SCVs with his initial gateway, or his 2-gate opener. Again, correctly identifying that Spirit would be a little bit too greedy, and he did punish Spirit, but wasn't able to finish the job. Wasn't able to capitalize on the rough start of Spirit, and Spirit, he bounced back. He recovered. GG. Impressive. Very impressive stuff there by Spirit. Very well done. Congratulations, as Spirit does advance on to the semi-finals. And now we can sink our teeth into those semi-finals. Let's go. We spoke about it before, but Geralt did advance on over Snogstar. We were able to cast that series, and Spirit advances on over Rodzyn. And now here we are, Spirit versus Geralt. Some of the bigger names in Poland are now facing off. Again, Spirit, I would say, is the best player currently in Poland. Geralt, one of the best Protoss players as well. And we have seen Geralt take maps and series off of Spirit in the past. I want to believe he can do it again.